Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm your host E-Day, bringing you some more of my Productive Bees mod tutorial. We are on episode 3, and today what we're going to do is we're going to work with the beekeeper as well as head to the nether so we can work on our nether nests and start breeding some of the bees that require the nether bees. And the nether bees that I'm thinking about, of course, are going to be the nether brick nest for the magmatic bee. We need the quartz nest for crystalline, glowstone, glowing bee. And maybe if we're lucky, we can take out a ghast, get a ghast tier, and give it to the soul sand nest so that we can get ourselves a ghostly bee. But first, before we head to the nether, let's go ahead and work on the beekeeper. We have a really easy mod called Easy Villagers in allthemods 10, which lets you shift right click with an empty spot. You can pick up villagers, so you can straight up kidnap them. Easy Villagers also lets you make these trader blocks, so we can go ahead and make these. Let's go ahead and make 2 of them since we have 2 advanced beehives. So I'm going to show off the Easy Villagers mod because I think it's a genius idea. But to get villagers to turn into the beekeeper, the block that you need to give them is one of these advanced beehives. I don't think it matters what color it is, as long as the villager can walk up to an advanced beehive and access it, it will turn into a beekeeper. So let's go ahead and get rid of these 2 furnaces up here. I don't even think I've used these guys yet. And we can put our traders up here. So we'll put those guys in here and then right click a villager in there and there. Grab our beehives and in there and there. And now both of them show trader, beekeeper, novice. So let's see this one. Ooh, these are bad trades. It wants us to use emeralds on this guy. So let's see. We should be able to just take out both, put them back in. Resets. Okay, now we sell campfires for emeralds. I like that. The other guy, that's the same trades. That's just bad. So now we know we take out the beekeeper, we take out the beehive, put the beekeeper out so he resets and shift click him again so he's empty. And let's see, reset. Yeah, there we go. Campfires for emeralds. So it's kind of like selling all of your coal for emeralds if you think about it, because that's really the only thing that matters in the campfire is the coal. All right, so let's go a stack and 28 for right now. That should be enough. We can always make more of the campfires. So let's go ahead and there we go. We sold most of them. And there we go. So now we just need to wait. They are upgraded now to Beekeeper Apprentice in one go. So now we just need them to reset, which they did super fast. Look at that. We could buy honey treats with emeralds, which is a little bit expensive, but this is pretty funny. 2 emeralds for a sugar bag honeycomb, which would satisfy the quest reward from allthemods 10 without needing to get the sugar bag bee that we got last episode. The other guy also has sugar bag, but you can also buy bee cages with emeralds. So that's a different trade there. This one reset now, so let's go ahead and sell them even more of our campfires. Now we have a new option on this guy. He's now a journeyman. We can trade him a beehive and 6 emeralds to have it turn into an advanced spruce beehive. And one thing, this is a little bit more of a vanilla convenience thing. I prefer when I make a tree farm for my trees to all grow only this tall. I don't like the massive trees. They require a lot of scaling. This one too. A lot of scaling, a lot of going up. So I think I'm going to build a ceiling above these guys so that they can't grow to this massive size. 2 and 3 and clear glass. Okay. I'm going to cap these guys off for right now. Let's go ahead and get rid of the trees under it. And now these clear glass from connected glass are going to keep the trees from growing past this point. All right, there we go. They're capped off. Now the trees will grow small, so I don't need to do any crazy climbing around. Let's go check and see if our beekeepers have reset. They probably have. And yes, they have reset, so let's sell more campfires. Still journeyman. This guy has finally reset. And there we go. This guy is now an expert, and this is the trade that I was looking for. Now, with 12 emeralds and a regular bee cage, we can upgrade them to sturdy bee cages. This is what I wanted to do. Happy, happy. Now we have 5 sturdy bee cages. These guys will not break on us. But this is also a really amazing way to turn your coal into emeralds and get sturdy bee cages. I love these things. But now that we have access to the nether from going to the nether last episode for the crystalline, we can go ahead and grab all of our nether bees. So we're going to make a nether brick nest with an iron sword. Hovering over it, hitting U for use. We can feed it a magma cream to get the magmatic bee. Use, we need it to breed with the sweat bee to make the obsidian bee, with the water bee to make the breeze bee, and with the coal bee to make the sulfur bee, with the leaf cutter bee to make the coal bee. That's the most important one, I would say. And with the nomad bee to make the blaze bee, also very important for blaze rods. And it will flower magma blocks or nether warts. It also has a 30% chance of flying over cobblestone to turn it into lava. It makes the magmatic comb, which can be centrifuged for more magma cream. We also need the quartz nest with an iron sword to be able to make ourselves the crystalline bee, which is needed for the tin bee, the mineral bee, the gold bee, the copper bee, the spatial bee, the aluminum bee, the iron bee, and the iridium bee. It also can be converted, so we'll need 2 of them, with a block of prosperity into the prosperity bee. And it flowers the quartz as an ore form or as a block of quartz. It makes the crystalline comb, which can be centrifuged for nether quartz. We're going to make the glowstone nest as well. That's a wooden sword. We need this guy for the glowing bee, which the glowing bee makes glowstone for us, but also it breeds for the refined glowstone and the redstone bee, which we need redstone. And one thing that I wanted to show off, the blaze bee. When you hover over it, it makes the blaze bee comb, which when you centrifuge it, it turns into blaze powder. But what's really cool is if you change the blaze bee combs, 4 of them, into a blaze bee comb block, or you get the hive upgrade that makes them turn into blocks. If you put the block form in a regular centrifuge, not a heated centrifuge, it will make you blaze rods. But that requires one extra step. Either we manually put these guys together first, or use mods to combine these into block forms, or we can use the upgrade block. This is a upgrade that goes in the hive, changes the produced output to blocks instead of honeycombs. But we won't worry about that right now. What we're going to do right now is go ahead and head to the nether with all the swords that we need and gather the materials, make ourselves a little hidey hole, and start spawning these bees in the nether. Oop, looks like we found some magma cubes and some loot. All right, it took us forever, but we finally found some soul sand. So let's go ahead and make these 3 real quick. We got nether bricks. We can make the nether brick nest. We have our soul sand now, so we can make our soul sand nest. We have our glowstone from 4 pieces of glowstone. We can make our glowstone nest, and we can take netherrack, surround it in nether quartz to make quartz in netherrack, and give it an iron sword to make the quartz nest. So we have the 4 nests that we need now. Nether brick nest, glowstone nest, quartz nest, soul sand nest. We have the magma cream from the magma spawner. We have the glowstone dust. We have the nether quartz. Now we need to find a ghast to get the ghast tier. I see a ghast in the distance, all the way out there. Gotcha, boy. Did you drop what I needed, though? All right, so we got our gas tier. Let's go ahead. I built a really small nook over here. We're going to close this door. We're going to put down our nests and feed them. So glowstone, quartz, soul sand, and nether brick. Boop. And gas tier, nether quartz, glowstone, and magma cream. Cool. They're all on cooldown now for 20 minutes. Now all we got to do is wait for these guys to pop. And one thing worth noting is that honey treats will not speed these guys up. You would have to give them more of the item required. So glowstone, nether quartz, gas tiers, and magma cream in order to make these faster. All right, 10 seconds left and we're about to spawn the 4 bees that we need. What's great about these guys is that they only spawn the 1 bee each. So we have our glowing bee, we have our crystalline bee, we have our magmatic bee, and we have our ghostly bee. Now 3 of them are diurnal and the ghostly bee is nocturnal. So that means the ghostly bee is only going to produce honeycombs during the Minecraft night. Now we have a bunch of bees that we can breed now. I'm only going to show up a couple of them and I'll do a lot of them off camera because it's a lot of redundant footage. But we needed the magmatic bee with the leaf cutter bee that we got in a previous episode. We feed them both flowers and they give us the coal bee. We needed the crystalline bee with the ashy mining bee that we got in a previous episode with 2 flowers gives us the iron bee. We needed the glowing bee with the chocolate mining bee from a previous episode. 2 flowers makes the redstone bee. And then again, we're going to need the magmatic bee again with the nomad bee that we got in episode 2 with flowers to get the blaze bee. All right, so we are home and we have our bees ready. Let's go ahead and do these in 2s and we can set the crystalline and the ashy mining bee free. And you. And there we go. We got the copper bee. Very cool. So it'll give us 1 of the metallic bees by random. We'll do the magmatic and the leaf cutter next. There you go. These 2 guys. And we have the coal bee. Nice. All right. Chocolate mining and glowing bee. There you go. Where are you? There you go. And we can get the Redstone Bee. Looks like the crystalline bee with the ashy mining bee gives the aluminum. It gives the copper. It gives the tin bee as well as the iron bee. So it's one of those will pop out. So let me check one thing. We can make the breeding chamber. For this guy, we specifically need a rose bush. I went ahead and I used my nature's compass and found a flower fields for this one. And we need to make an upgrade baby, which is blocks of honeycombs, saplings, and an upgrade base. Upgrade base is a honey treat, emeralds, sticks, and a diamond. All right, we got our upgrade base, and we have an upgrade baby, and we have our breeding chamber. Okay. So let's go ahead and move our baby incubator for right now and switch it with the breeding chamber so that I can get power. And let's see, the magmatic bee, if we would breed them out in the wild the way we just did, it would have a cooldown on it. All right, so magmatic bee, nomad bee will give us the blaze bee. We need to give them 2 flowers and we have to give it a bee cage. All right, so we'll put a sturdy bee cage in here. We'll let these 2 breed. It will take a while. So if we run out of power, we'll have to feed this guy more honey in the honey generator. All of the honey we're getting right now is from the honeycombs of the silky bee coming into the centrifuge. It creates the honey, and then since the block is touching it, it transfers the honey from the centrifuge to the honey generator, and then it transfers the power to the connected breeding chamber. Almost done, and let's see, it should dump the bees straight into the bee cage. Yep, there we go. Right here, we went ahead and we bred ourselves a blaze bee. So one thing that's cool about the breeding chamber is the crystalline and the ashy. Tin bee. If we remove it and put it back in, aluminum bee. Iron bee, that's the one that we want. So this would be the easiest way for us to make sure that we get the bees that we want instead of trying to hit that 1 in 4 every single time. Now that we have the nether bees out of the way and we can start breeding these bees through the breeding chamber with our sturdy bee cages thanks to the beekeepers, now it's time to do a lot of bee breeding, which is redundant for you guys, and we need to expand. We only have one advanced beehive right now for the silky combs. We need to expand our entire setup now to accommodate all of the resource bees, all of the productive bees that we have now. This is going to take a while, so I'll be right back. And the bees are free. So as you can see, I went ahead and I did a lot of the redundant footage, which is breeding all of the different bees. And I put all of the blocks that they pollinate in the ground. So instead of flowers, like the copper bee needs copper, the gold needs gold, the redstone bee needs redstone, the blaze bee needs magma blocks, and the iron bee, luckily for us, it can pollinate off the hopper. And one thing that I did notice is that a lot of these bees are going to require the sweat bee. So zinc, nickel, of course then because of nickel, the invar, because of zinc, the brass, because of nickel, the constantan, obsidian for magmatic and sweat, and this special bee that is kind of out of place, the rancher bee, which is lumber and sweat put together. Milky combs, we get these off of a bee harvesting off of a cow. All right, so let's head up here into this snowy biome and we can drop down one of our nests. This right here looks like a good spot, so let's go ahead. We have our 4 snowballs. And we need our wooden sword for a snow nest. And boop, and boop. Okay. So we got a repopulation cooldown of 20 minutes. And the only thing that can come out of the snow nest is the sweat bee itself. So now that I'm looking at it, we will need to do a bee conversion, like I mentioned earlier. We need to feed a sweat bee ice to make the ice bee, the frosty bee. So let's go ahead and make a second one. There we go, 1200 seconds. And let's go ahead and speed this up. So 4, let's go 4. See, at the end, it only gives you like 5 seconds. All right, and we're gonna get our bees. There we go. 1 inhabitant sweat bee. Okay. Oh, I guess because it's snowing, this counts as rain. So the bee went right back into its nest. So let's go ahead and just take the entire nest with us. All right, there we go. We have our sweat bee. And let's see. Yep, it's that easy. We just right click with snow and we got our frosty bee. So let's grab our other sweat bee. There we go. And now we can breed this sweat bee with our other bees to get the ones that we're missing. And one thing I have noticed, if you put the bees in here, so sweat and magmatic makes the obsidian bee. You give them the flowers they need and the sturdy bee cage. It has power, but it will not breed. I've made this mistake. Make sure that both of the bees are adults. And also, some flowers do not function, like this allium flower bush. This one probably doesn't work because it's a flower bush and not a singular flower. And the frosty bee, we're not going to be able to get the frosty comb with this guy unless we put him up and running in the cold biome, since we need silk touch to be able to pick up some ice. All right, this is a painfully slow process, watching these hearts fill up for the bee breeding. So one thing I would say is let's go ahead and take the obsidian bee that we just bred. It is a child. We'll move it straight over here into the baby incubator, and it will start developing this obsidian bee to an adult for us. There we go, 20 honey treats. What we can do to finish off the episode is create this upgrade speed. This one is pretty simple. We need an upgrade base, so honey treat, emerald, diamond, and sticks with honeycomb blocks and clocks. redstone, and gold. And that is something that we are generating now with abundance. Perfect. So when you hover over it, the upgrade speed gives a 15% decrease in time spent in the hive, can be installed in machines for faster processing, and multiple upgrades can be installed for a greater time decrease. For the Germans out there, this still applies for simmed hives. Why does this feel like it's talking specifically to me? But valid blocks, stripper and sawmill or something else, advanced beehive, centrifuge, breeding chamber, incubator, and honey generators. So the honey generators can now take upgrades, probably to pump out more RF throughput. But I would say this is a great opportunity to make the upgrade speeds for both our centrifuges and for our breeding chambers. So let's see how many we can make. Emeralds aren't a problem, we just make campfires and sell them. But weirdly enough, I've been having issues finding diamonds. This is allthemods 10, you know, so I could just go vein mining like crazy. But I've been having problems finding diamonds, so I'm really looking forward to us getting the diamond bee. Alright, so 4 clocks, 4 honeycomb blocks, and an upgrade base. Makes a speed upgrade. Now we got 4 of them. Alright, so let's see what the difference is. We have the sweat bee, we have our iron bee, and we can make the zinc bee. Let's go ahead and give it full speed upgrades and 2 flowers. Let's see how much faster it is with 4 speed upgrades. It is faster, but not like really noticeably faster. The good thing is that the honey generator can keep up with power. I was worried that the power was going to drain out, so we would need either more than 1 honey generator or have to make these speed upgrades for the honey generator as well. But luckily that's not the case. So we'll be able to knock out the rest of the bees that require sweat bees. So zinc bee, nickel bee, invar, brass, constantan. We'll be able to knock these out and call it an episode on that. Next time, what we're going to do is we're going to head to the end so that we can get our ender bee and we can start working towards getting the diamond bee.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Smash like to show your appreciation and consider leaving a boom in the comment section below. Also, click on my dude here to subscribe for more Let's Plays. Ooh.